All right. So today we're going to talk about kind of a common thing that we've seen with a lot of customers ask about time clock, start, stop. Can I have that in Acumatica? And natively, just hasn't been there. Mm-hmm. And so with a lot of things that we've encountered with you specifically, you said, we can build it. And so I believe we did.
We did.
I didn't do anything, to be fair. Y'all built it.
It's true, yeah.
How? How does that look? How does that work? What did y'all do?
Yeah, as with most things that I solve in Acumatica, we did it with project issues.
Tracks.
And part of it is just because it's familiar to me, but it's also kind of it's an easy to carve out database that doesn't touch a lot of other stuff.
Yeah.
And so effectively what we've done is we created a GI with an action to create a new project issue. Mm-hmm. And when it creates the project issue, it records the current time.
Okay.
And then that puts it onto a GI that shows you, okay, now you're clocked in, and then there's another action that allows you to then select that and clock out.
Okay.
And the one of the things that I would say is kind of unique is a lot of times you would do this and you would make someone log all the way in and all the way out of the system. Mm-hmm. But we have more of in a lot of our in our manufacturing shop especially, we have more of like a kiosk setup.
Okay.
So not every guy in the shop has access to Acumatica. Our
Gotcha.
leads do, but the guys don't, and so
is there a reason for that? Just mainly because they would never use it.
Yeah. I think it has more to do with the fact that it's like it would cost more to train than the value you would get out of it.
I see.
And so, and it's the other reason is it's also a little bit translatable from our current system. So our current system is a kiosk system.
Okay.
And so it's like if we're going to change the whole operating system that they're used to, if we can keep some parts of it the same, at least it kind of feels similar.
Yeah.
And so what we did is we basically created a custom field or an attribute inside the employee record, mm-hmm. and gave them a 4-digit PIN, which is, again, what they use in the current system. And so when they go to that GI, there's a parameter at the top of the GI where they type in the 4-digit PIN.
Okay.
And by virtue of typing in that PIN, it pulls in just them as an employee. And it basically says, okay, great, now you can clock in. And so we did all that kind of initial setup inside Acumatica natively on the web.
Yeah.
And then Drew pulled it into the mobile app. So I'll let him talk about that.
Yeah.
How'd you do that?
Yeah, so as far as the mobile app goes, really, really simple. Just press a few buttons.
Totally simple, yeah.
No,
it's
but
not
you can expose most items to the mobile app with a little bit of code. So go in, target your generic inquiry and the records that you want on it.
Yeah.
And in this particular one, we had actions from a couple business events that we coded onto the GI and the mobile app, and then you just go in there and there's actually this really cool feature that if you have actions from a GI, you can slide over on the mobile app on the record and select the action. Yeah. So it's been helpful. And with a little bit of creative formula writing from Andrew, there's even instructions on the record that said slide over to clock in.
Tells you what to do. It's like, here's your action.
Yeah, so it shows the person's name, and then there's an arrow to the left that says slide to the left to clock in or clock out, depending on if you are already clocked in or not.
Cool.
And so it's just a little bit of like, it's a really simple amount of formula writing so that way you give your users a little bit more comfort with like, what do I really do? Because a lot of times the people that are going to use some of the stuff that we build, it's like they're going to use it twice a day, not 200 times a day like some of us. And so if you can just make them a little bit more confident that like, yep, I am doing the right thing.
Yeah.
I feel like it's time well spent on the front end.
And as complicated as it all may sound, ultimately all it is a generic inquiry with a couple of import scenarios, and that's really all it takes.
And the action is making a very plain project issue with one field filled out, and then closing that project issue and filling out another field.
So let's say, because you said I've got a time key, right? Time pin?
Time pin, yeah.
Time pin. Yep. So I put in my couple digits, pulls up mine. If I'm logged in, can someone come in, put their time key in, and do their own, and it keeps me logged in?
Yes.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so it only uses their time. It uses the time pin simply to identify who wants to clock in.
Did y'all default it to the person who is logged in, or no?
It is not right now.
Okay. I imagine you could. If
next
you wanted
step in our process, yeah.
But in your scenario,
it's not. I would say that's
really
not. It's not critical.
Yeah.
And what, at least on the app, what I found so far is that it saves the last pin that was entered.
Okay.
Right now, and so for our guys that would do it through the app on their phone, like in the field, then that's actually useful.
Yeah.
Because then it's just always on them.
That's nice.
And then people who are in the shop, they're going to have to enter it no matter what.
Yeah.
And so they're going to be used to entering it. So
That's super cool.
Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah. For us, it was something that as we pushed towards manufacturing into Acumatica, it was always a big question because there wasn't a clock in, clock out, and we weren't used to doing it any other way. Like we don't have a production manager that enters in people's time into some sort of a time card every day, and we're not really interested in doing that because our guys are built to do the clock in, clock out already.
Yeah.
And so it's been a it's been a really good. Like a good feeling to find a solution for it, because I know it'll be something that our manufacturing team will be relieved that they don't have to do something a different way.
Yeah, that's super cool because it'll be adopted quicker.
Yes.
So you mentioned project issues. How hard do you think it would be to train or to transition that into maybe time activities, straight to time activities instead of stopping off at something in the middle?
It would probably be another import.
2 hours maybe.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure without looking into the specifics of it.
Spoken like a consultant.
10 to 15 minutes max, I would say.
But
no.
Certainly you should be able to do it.
Yeah, you just you would take the data that you have in your project issue and fill out with another import scenario your necessary. I would think your necessary fields in your employee time activity. Just pass them through. You probably wouldn't be able to do it off of a time activity because of a limitation like you would have to funnel it through another form to get to time activities.
Crazy idea. You create the project issue with your start and stop. You create the time activity after you've completed it. You delete
the project issue. Yeah.
That could work.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Okay. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for sharing. That's
Yep.
great.